Joe, I hear you had that hernia surgery on your groin.
Yeah, they really got in there.
Use the old knife. They'd really open it up and fiddle. Now, if I understand correctly, you now are a cyborg man with a powerful mesh.
Yes, I can use it as a crowd control device. It's awesome. I can take one guy out of combat. The thing that sucks about the hernia surgery is that like 300 people contacted me to be like, hey, it's going to look like a nightmare down there afterwards. So, like, everyone was just like, just so you know, no, I don't want you to go in there blind. And it doesn't matter how many times people tell you it, because it's like, oh no, it's happening.
I texted you. I'm looking at my phone right now. I texted you last Thursday, day before your surgery. Everything they're saying about your balls changing colors and getting huge is true. It's just another way the world rewards us for already hating and denouncing that whole area.
It's true. And also, the doctor on the way out was just like, just so you know, like, there could be any number of pains or changes in color. He basically, the takeaway was just like, hey, man, any fucking thing can happen down there, and it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
we hit the randomize button. It's just going to be character creation for a while.
Yeah. It's... Well, my understanding is that we were always brothers, even in the time stream, because the day of my surgery, your phone told you also got hernia surgery 4 years ago.
Yeah. So I got hernia surgery in the past, and my mom drove me to the place, because we didn't have a car at the time, to the place, the fucking hospital, and took a very funny picture of me after I had just awoken from surgery, where I'm in my little gown and they gave me a little cup of water that I was really enjoying drinking, and I sort of am half awake, still in the anesthesia daze, and I give a little dim smile to the camera and hold up my little water. And it's a beloved picture because it is very funny. And like the day of your surgery, my mom forwards like the Shutterfly memories email she got that like auto-generated. It's like, look at this picture from 4 years ago. And it's that. And then I was at your house the other day and someone's phone was out and the Photos app was open. And there was a photo of you having just woken up from surgery. It was almost identical. It was very funny because you looked loopy. And I'm like, it's happening.
Yeah, it also, our bodies were in the same position, like it was like two Bigfoot photos side by side, just the same exact stride, or rather, same exact posture.
To be fair, they do sort of like standardize hernia surgery. They're not like freestyling it every time. They gotta know what position to put dudes in when they do that.
I did the thing where they just dump me at the end, and where I land, I land. As I mentioned, some people reached out letting me know what to expect hernia-wise and telling me they also had hernia surgery, some sort of bonding over that. But I would like to share with the class a frankly jaw-dropping case of medical education failure that was shared with me, and I can't stop thinking about it. I was contacted by noted homie of the show and works on a boat guy, Splooty Gooters.
This is a boat sicko.
It's his job. They don't make him leave.
Yeah. And he recently, I know this because he was posting about it, had a ship-wide Smash Brothers tournament where he was the champion, and he said that in the final round, he won 2 out of 3 stocks with a Falcon Punch, which that just tells me that the average Smash Brothers ability on that ship is utter dog shit. If you're using Falcon Punches in competitive and it's viable, you are up against trash.
I guess it was a ship of scrubs. That's fine. No, I wanted to share this wonderful anecdote. Tom is just going to read Splooty Gooters, his lines from the DM, and we'll just get through this together. Take it away.
I'm going to say it like, I'm going to talk like a piece of pirate. Actually, I've already gotten tired of that. I haven't even done it. I'm going to talk normally, but imagine there's boat sounds behind me. Joe, do you have an inguinal hernia?
I do. That's what the surgeon said. I assume he was the real deal.
I have an anecdote about these bad boys.
Give me your story power.
I had one myself, but it started real young. I saw the Austin Powers movie before I knew what jokes were, and I saw the part where Dr. Evil counts his 3 testicles. And I said, yeah, 3. That checks out.
No way.
I didn't know I had inguinal hernia for another, 6 years or something. It's one of my only legendary stories.
Can you imagine, having just a weird medical piece of disinformation just, completely verified by an Austin Powers movie? And, how hard is it to unprogram that belief?
I'm trying to think, what else could even apply. The only other thing is someone who lost their mojo.
I guess but that's the thing. It's you sit through any of those movies and you go to bed thinking well, no one is taking medical advice from any of these films. No one's planning their life based on information in these films, and the answer is that wasn't true.
I'm glad you got it taken care of eventually, Splooty Gooters. I mean, that was the implication, at least. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you just pushed it back in and, healed up the intestinal wall through sheer willpower. Wouldn't that be something?
So I looked at the Wikipedia page for how people dealt with this in the past, and that was basically it.
Just sort of deal with it. You have discomfort sitting down. Whoa, better stand.
Yeah, better get used to moving your guts around.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses, the only podcast, a podcast with two abdominal mesh sickos, the only podcast and where we talk about anime gaming posting jobs, which are the bad things. We hate those things. I'm Tom in Anime Wello.
I am Joe in Anime Wello. I was just reflecting on how much I love my mesh.
The mesh kicks in. It's not very funny, but I think it's so funny to consider that the solution is to augment you with a strange mesh.
It's funny if you think of someone treating getting a little bit of mesh in their tummy with all the Days X implications. They're like, what am I now?
I've lost a little bit of my humanity. I used to have no mesh. It used to just be meat that held them guts in. Fuck. We got a good episode, but before we do it, we got some bookkeeping to get out of the way. First of all, we got new patrons. This is delightful. We can't get enough of this shit. And now I'm going to read their names to you, listener. These are the new patrons. First up, first new patron. We got Tora Lee Hart. That's a 3-named patron. Incredible. Thank you for your donation, and congratulations on having 50% more names than usual.
Yeah. Also, congrats on having good taste and giving us $5.
Hell yeah. I mean, truly, it is an incredible decision to make. Next up on the the patron docket, we got Kai Tave. Kai, thank you. You sound like the suffix to a Dragon Ball series.
That is true. Welcome aboard.
Next up, our next new patron, we definitely got Robin Jade. Robin, thank you for your excellent donation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Joe, this next one. Okay, so, listener, here's the facts. Here's the behind the curtain. The way I know how to, read these, and you can tell from this why I might miss some of them. The way I know who to read is when someone becomes a patron, Patreon sends me an email, and if the amount of money is $5 or more, I leave it unread, and then I mark it read when I read out your name here. Now, I'm doing that now. But this Joe, I'm looking at Australian dollars in this subject line. This is an Aussie sicko. This person loves to sit in a kangaroo pouch. It's William Reynolds. Thank you for being an Aussie.
What's the conversion rate? That's $10.
Yeah, that's $100. We're rich now because of Australia money.
My understanding is that Australia is a big mining company, not unlike Canada, so I'm glad to be part of something bigger than myself.
I mean, yeah, well, that's pretty much every country. What country doesn't fucking suck? That's the thing, and I'm always like, this America, it's such a dead cultureless nightmare. I gotta move. It's like, where to? Like, where isn't a sort of hollow screaming mania country? Nowhere. Fuck it. But moving on, we got another patron who gave us $5, and it's got to be Alex Keswick. Alex, I gotta thank you for the $5. Excellent.
Thank
choice. And hey, you too can give us money, and you get the fun reward of hearing us say your name once on the show. You can do that at patreon.com/animesickos. And Joe, there was once a time, most of the time, when that was the only way you could give us money. Is that still the case, or is there some new way?
I feel like there's an email I didn't read, but I'm going to say you're about to unveil something.
Yeah, yeah. You know how we've been spending like months putting together like a store?
Oh, the store. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's definitely animesickos.com/store. And right now, we got for you to purchase, we have 2 sticker packs that have incredible stickers. We have one pack that was designed by Rain Clar, an excellent pack of very funny stickers. Another that is designed by John Kyo. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name. I should have checked before. But what I know about both of them is that both packs fucking whip ass. These are good stickers that I love to look at and hold and put on shit. They're beautiful, and you can get them. And isn't that pretty good? I think yes.
We don't need to go through what's in every pack because you can just go to the dang website. But Tom, I think you need to paint a visual picture of what we're dealing with here.
You're getting 7 fucking stickers per pack. We got such hits as a big stop sign that says "Stop now, don't email my wife." We have a brain that turns into an ass, and then there's a phone stuck in the crack, and also the brain is farting.
Yeah, good.
We got the machine that gets blood. Like, you can get a sticker of it. There's blood coming out of it. It's incredible.
There's a lot of blood coming out of it. Can you explain to the class my favorite sticker that's ever been made by John? Can you just tell everyone what it is? This is something that I feel has a very narrow appeal, perhaps the narrowest appeal of any sticker I know about. But can you explain what it is?
So you know the Zodiac killer, folks, the murderer who used secret codes. He would send out secret codes that what do they mean? And John noticed that one of his little ciphers had in it letters that looked shockingly like he was saying, "I'm out here getting my dick snucked."
Oh my God.
And John has just reproduced the Zodiac Killer's message, and he has rewritten those particular letters in red, whereas all other letters are in black. And it fucking says, "I'm out here getting my dick snucked." It just does, folks. It does. It is an incredible... There's a little bit of fudging to make it work, but like 80% of that shit is just what was on the page at the beginning from the murderer.
And also it recontextualizes history because like we thought it was a letter taunting the police, but now it's a man asking for help.
Fuck. But yeah, animesickos.com/store. Again, that's animesickos.com/store. Or you can go to animesickos.com and there's a fucking word at the top that says store. You click that, you go to the store. Also, if you really want to fucking get the real URL, it's like some fucking store envy page with like a user number on it. But we've made it so that it auto redirects from animesickos.com/store. So do that.
Yeah.
All right, now the fucking show. Joe, posting. How do we feel about it right now?
It's bad. Like, it sucks. It's fucking bad. I would describe what we are living in right now as a posting waste. We are living in the posting wastes right now.
Yeah. When you log on and you look at the posts, you're in a dusty movie. You're in a movie where it's sandy. Like, that's a truth. That's the facts. You're in the wastes.
Look, if you log on every day and you see just garbage and you have to come to the realization that there has been no meaningful cultural production since 9/11, you ultimately come to the conclusion that Dune is right. Like, computers gotta go. They suck. Like, they are holding us back.
There are, I mean, I'm with you, but consider that if you took the computers away, there'd be no gaming. I think that would be what makes you a worm, is if you couldn't game, you would become a worm.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. There needs to be, Dune is on the right track, and I hate to say it, but I mean, like, look at blockchain, look at fucking crypto. We need to get rid of that shit. Like, how is no one firebombing the server farms for fucking Dogecoin? I can't imagine it. Dune knows what's up. And listener, if you don't know how we feel about Dune, we've talked about Dune a lot in our other fucking podcast, Shovel Quest. But like you know how much it pains me to say that Dune is right about anything, because like Dune is a very confusing book full of proper nouns, where it starts off with this like very cool setting where it's like, look at this crazy space world from the future. It's very cool. There's lots of grand politics and houses. All the noble houses have a weird gimmick, and they have space swords, and you're like, dope. And then the book is like, anyway, now we'll learn about the water table. And then everyone becomes a weird worm who just sits around all day pondering the golden path. And from what I understand of NFTs, that's what they are, except you just start at the part where you're a worm.
It really does feel like every month that passes by recently, there's like a new hyper commodification of the internet in a way that like I couldn't even comprehend before. Like NFTs a year ago would not make sense to me. Like it wouldn't.
And there's going to be something even weirder like in a month. Like, and I do kind of love how like we need to get rid of computers is kind of becoming moot, because every new weird crypto thing like eats up a specific computer part at insane rates for no reason. Like, oh, this new thing kills SSDs. Now you can't buy an SSD. Already we can't buy graphics cards. Like, gaming's already over pretty much.
That's why you said like, what about gaming? And it's just like the planet is being cooked in a way that boggles the mind, and like it specifically has to cook in a way that makes me not get a graphics card. It's so fucking frustrating. Like in a just world, the crypto mining that uses SSDs would have been what they started with. So I could have like seen the writing on the wall. I mean, like when they go to the fucking graphics cards, it's gonna be a nightmare. Yeah. But no.
I feel like it's going to just become more and more abstract and sort of like divorced from what actually is necessary, and more sort of in deference to the culture and the custom. I feel like there's going to be a fad crypto coin in the next year where just like you need to upload a video of you smashing a power supply with a hammer. Otherwise, like they won't certify it.
I think they need to just embrace it and just have like the most black-pilled coin possible, and like it the whole point of it is to tell you like how many seconds you shave off the planet's lifespan.
What it is just scalps.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I'm out mining scalp coin. That's just like becoming a murderer.
Yes. Mining scalp coin as yes.
Fuck. Oh my god. The wastes, Joe, the posting wastes, they're real. They're bad. I hate them so much.
Yeah. Everything is a dusty desert because all value has been extracted out of it. And it's now just like hooting maniacs yelling over the remains.
Yeah, speaking of hooting maniacs, isn't it funny how Substack turned from the website we heard would be good to host our newsletter to becoming the fascism factory, full of the screamingest people.
It's wild how we were like, we need a newsletter platform for our goofs. And now, like, it's 2021, end of May. Basically, every awful writer's like, yeah, ever since I switched to Substack, I make 6 figures a second doing gender critical stuff. It's crazy. And it's just like, this is, why would you go to a news site when you can get the hooting maniac stuff directly from them?
You could read Andrew Sullivan try really hard to say outright racism in the New York Magazine, where his editor is trying to tone it down a little bitty bit. Or
he could just take off the training leg armor and just fucking go nuts.
Yeah, Barry Weiss can try to get herself fired from the New York Times to prove that cancel culture is real. Or she can just have a Substack where she says that the Arab brain is simply incapable of object permanence and can't add.
Yeah. And, like, she's making way more money this way, so we should be happier for her.
The sort of dusty desert image I get from these Substack screamers is that they're like the lieutenants of the Mad Max warlord, each trying to establish their own kingdom after the warlord has died, in that they're all sort of becoming independent. They're trying to make their living off of cultivating this cult of aggrieved maniacs who they can scream things at with the intention that they will become a mobilized weapon to harm the people they dislike.
Yeah, when you say the huge warlord fell down, you mean Trump got banned?
Yeah, Trump's dead. He was Immortan Joe. Like, he was the one who could do it.
Yeah, I mean, he had entire brigades of reply guys under him. Like, the comments under his posts had GDP implications.
Yeah. They had, like, a specific ecosystem. Like, it was like creating new species of, like, tree frog, like the Amazon.
Yes. And it's gone. And it is like he died. It shouldn't be like this, but when he was just no longer on the site anymore, it was as if he never existed.
And, like, we hate Trump. We don't think it's good that he ever was posting. And what he posted was always bad. But, like, you can't deny that he did have, like, he was so good at posting that now, like, half of all humans are different. Like, every Republican now has fealty only to Trump and sort of the concept of what it means to be Trump. It used to be that there were some of them who didn't, but now it's like 100%, and it'll never go back. And it's all because he was their genius savant posting king. I think a good example is, Joe, do you remember when, for whatever fucking reason, Republicans were mad at Major League Baseball for some reason?
No.
Yeah, well, that should tell you how legitimate their grievance was. I don't even remember why, but everyone was hating on the MLB. They were doing their fucking Mad Libs, their culture war Mad Libs, where they're like, noun is woke. Let's hate on them. And every single one of these Substack screamers was saying their line. They got their script this week where the Mad Lib was filled in with MLB, and they're like, the MLB is woke, the MLB is woke, the MLB is woke. And some journalist from, like, some shit like freedomeagle.gun or what have you went up to Trump and was like, hey buddy, I have your script prepared for you. It is now time for you to say the line that we're all saying. What do you think about the woke MLB? Please say it's bad, because that's what we like this week. And he's just like, I don't give a shit about that. Have you ever noticed that there's too many channels on TV these days? You can't find what you want to watch. It's just, there's too many channels. And it's just like, he still got it.
Yeah, and also the entire, like, ecosystem of that communication approach is leading up to him saying a thing, right? And like, how much man hours is, like, spent being like, okay, well, we're going to build this up so when he says it, we can post all this shit. And he just doesn't do it because, like, his remote, it has a lot of buttons.
Yeah. It really does. And, like, it used to be there was, like, 10 channels. Now there's, like, 200. Where do you even find the game? How do you watch the big game? There's Comedy Central. It used to be they just put sitcoms on ABC and NBC. Fuck. And, like, this is why it feels like such a wasteland. Like, it's just as bad. There's just as much evil being put out by these Substack screamers, but there's absolutely nothing. Like, there's no newness. Like, we know exactly what Barry Weiss is going to say, and she's saying it every week. And She has her army of like Mad Max maniacs, but she's never going to have the kingdom that Immortan Joe Trump did. Because there's nothing under the surface. She's just a skull, and there's nothing inside. Donald Trump was a skull, and inside was like a living flame.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is poetry and right. And also, like, we're a little focused on Twitter at the moment. We're saying posting. We can extend this to the internet at large, because I really feel like every single website that I have to interface with, definitely on my phone, but on a desktop as well, is just over-advertised to the point of total uselessness.
Mm-hmm.
I am thinking about adopting a cat, so I've been looking at, like, Pet Finder on my phone. The website is fine, but it's just like unusable ads. Everything sucks. Every app is just like, how willing are you to struggle with this UX for the next whatever, because you're going to click on an ad on accident. That's what everything is.
It's so weird that the algorithm, that like this big panopticon that is the lifeblood of the world economy, the only reason anything is done is because this thing pushes money around. And it's the reason that we have to cede all privacy and make sure everything about us is data points that are easily purchasable by any fucking company that has some cash to spare. Like the upshot to all this that has been sacrificed is that, like, if you look up, I want to get a cat, they're like, oh, fuck. Show them litter. Oh, litter. Hell yeah. We figured it out. We cracked the puzzle.
Yeah, every aspect of home computing is so less interesting and fun now. And it was all done so after I buy a desk, I get ads for desks for the next month.
It's holy shit, Joe. I just put it together. It is a total mirror image of the Substack screamers who have their one grievance that they scream with like more and more open manic bigotry every week, where there's like, again, there's nothing under the surface. It's like Barry Weiss is going to be saying that if you don't support Zionism and everything Israel does, no matter what, then you are a Holocaust guy. I know that. And similarly, like, I know that all the ads are gonna be shit I already looked up. Like the best case scenario, the fucking best case scenario for a algorithmically determined ad is I get to write a think piece about, like, isn't it funny that I was talking about this brand of toothpaste and then it showed up? How did it know?
That, to me, what you're describing, that article, that's more dust.
Yep, I mean it is, because I'll tell you what, it fucking sucks. And when I look at it, I'm going to get an ad.
I used to remember going to specific websites to, like, read writers whose names I knew.
That's fucked.
It is. And it wasn't, like, in black and white times. Like, it was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. And you might be thinking, like, well, couldn't they also get a Substack that they fill with, like, thoughtful and good writing? It's like, well, technically, I guess, but it's going to be pretty fucking irrelevant because they're going to make a lot less money than the people who show up and scream something hateful and have a very powerful call to action, which is, some variation of kill the enemy or else our culture will be destroyed. Those people are always going to get more eyes on their content, and they're going to see how successful they are when they do it, and they're going to be like, I got to get more racist. And Substack is going to be like, I love to see these views coming in. Please have another grant. Meanwhile, someone who like writes sort of like a wryly funny article about the Mets. Yeah, sorry. Fucking Deadspin's gone, buddy. It's not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my one shot at liking sports, Deadspin, and they fucked it up. And by they, I mean, like, I don't know, the anti-spiral that ruins everything. But
yeah. Yeah, sports suck ass, dude. I used to like sports, but then I was like, you know what? The only thing this has ever done for me is caused me great stress because all the fucking Chicago teams lose. The one time the Chicago teams didn't lose, when the Cubs won, it was a cursed experience because it immediately made Trump win the election. Those are inextricably linked. Those were the same event, and no one can convince me otherwise.
I was watching, obviously, the World Series, and I was watching it online, so I had a bit of a delay, and I knew it ended because on the screen, the guy was getting ready to pitch, but outside, I heard what sounded like every bomb ever made going off.
This is beside the point, but remember last year when there was a lot of fireworks because people were bored and it was July and everyone was like, this is the police getting you used to artillery for when they take over.
I was fully embracing that at that point because I was like, I need a fun story to believe in it. Like when you say that as the rationale, what I'm actually hearing is like Metal Gear Solid is real, and you're the star, Joe.
Yeah, this is a big improv everywhere game. Remember those? It's like a flash mob. Play along. It's fun. Well, I guess this is more accurate than I know. Because when you're in the posting wastes, when you're in the dusty land, you can't grow anything in this dead earth. So the only thing you can do, aside from fight in the battle arena with Lord Bones,
kick up dust
and hoot at the freaks. Joe, there's this fucking tweet that you've put on the Tascade. Can you read this about zodiac signs? This is a hell of a tweet.
Yeah. There is no way in hell that Hitler was a Taurus, emoji of the head exploding. I thought Tauruses were grounded and realistic and gentle. What is that? The embarrassed face?
Yeah.
I never realized one of the most evil mass murderers in history could have been an Earth sign. This is the shit I wake up for, Tom. Like, and like, it might seem like I'm just like, oh, look at this hilarious, weird. No. I'm just saying, like, this is all we have now. It's we sit in the dust. Tumbleweed surrounds us, but once in a while, something like this comes barreling through, and we kind of like stand up. And we watch it go by and we're like, oh, that's what it feels like to have blood flow.
We go ook, and then our brains go back into sleep mode.
It's either sleep or we go back to grooming each other. We're just picking bugs out each other's hair.
There's a lot of bugs because they're one of the few species that thrives in the waste. I love this post because we don't want to suggest like, oh, look at this astrology idiot. Astrology's fake. I'm not into it, but if you're into it, that's fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. But just I love like everyone was born at some, like, even bad all bad guys were born on a day. Like, you can't be shocked that, like, a bad guy had a certain sign because, like, I assure you they all have birthdays at some point.
The number of total bad guys exceeds the number of signs.
It does. It fucking does. Just like, I gotta wonder what is the sign that they were expecting Hitler to have, where it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Because it's like, whoa, what about all the other people born in that month? They're all Hitlers. That's the facts. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, another circus show that's always going on in the posting wastes that I've watched this circus show for years and I still don't fucking understand the deal here. Like, I cannot parse these people. The Brunigs, Matt and Liz Brunig. These fuckers. What?
They seem nice, but also I don't understand. I think so. My understanding is Liz was hired by the New York Times because of their commitment to diverse Catholic voices. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. The thing that I noticed about these people is that the internet is, rather, the wastes are divided into interesting Brunig-related factions that I don't understand, that frankly scare me.
Yeah, these people, as far as I can understand, I'm going to, as succinctly as I can, summarize their deal in as much detail as I can from what I've gleaned, is that they are chaos magicians who live in the swamp. There's a swamp in the wastes. It's very fetid, and you have to walk in it on big stilts. And they live there, and it's very hard to know what the deal is. Liz Brunig is, as you say, a devout Catholic who thinks that abortion is a sin and murder, but she's also like a Bernie socialist. But she also thinks that it's very normal to tube it on your Zoom calls. She was vocally defending Jeffrey Toobin for fucking yanking his hog fully nude on his work call. And
Was this one of those things where like this was happening, and then was she deploying my favorite card, which is it's nuanced?
Yes, she was. It was like, It's
Okay.
nuanced. There's so many shades of iniquity in this complex world. There was some other guy who I don't know what his deal was, but he was also nude on a work call. He was in the bath and he like got up and like showed his dick on the camera. And he like admitted it. He's like, yeah, I definitely did that. My bad. I'm stepping down. So like, it wasn't even like a debate where it's like, was this good or not? He's like, no, it was bad. I did that. My bad. I'll take the punishment. And she was like, no, I'm actually going to step up and be like, actually, I think that it's normal for him to have done that. It's normal for his dick to come out. It was just an accident. Do not get mad at his dick. So, okay, that's fucking baffling. Matt Brunig, the husband, is...
He likes spreadsheets.
Yeah.
He seems to be like a human Excel guy, and that's cool. Didn't he have like an all-time burn on like, was it June Doyle?
Yeah, Jude Doyle. So what happened, this was the circus show, like they came into town with a new act recently, which fucking blew my brains, which is Liz Brunig wrote an op-ed in the New York Times, the gist of which was, I am happy that I had my children. And a lot of people who hate her for socialism reasons and also abortion rights reasons, one of them is a legitimate reason. But but they believe in both of them. So people who hate her, your climbers and your Filipovics, were saying that the article was in many ways an anti-feminist, regressive, right-wing tradcath screed about how women are only valuable as brood mares and you have to start young. This was an insane thing to say. Another reason why I just don't understand their fucking deal. Like, I just don't get like what I'm seeing when I'm engaging with Brunig stuff.
Yes, I feel like every time I see like discourse about them, I feel like I am ingesting text that has already been like chewed up and processed, and it's like the meaning isn't there anymore. I don't understand. They're very elusive, and I can read about anything forever. Like there's this thing called the Dragon Ball Wiki. It's got a lot of pages.
Like there was this was a smaller thing than all that shit about I'm happy I had my kids. But like someone asked Liz Brunig, like, what's your ideal form of government? And she said, a philosopher king. And now, to me, that reads as sort of a tongue-in-cheek thing where it's like, if there were an extremely wise person who had ultimate power, they would be able to enact policies that are good without fucking prevaricating and with speed.
Like you're like, hey, in this fantastical hypothetical where you can do anything, why not have a guy who's got all the answers?
Yeah. And what that was taken up by the cohort of people who hate her is regressive theocrat Liz Brunig wants to install theocratic dictator so that you can be forced to be a brood mare. And I'm just like, well, that's obviously wrong and insane. But then I also see like, she is Catholic, and I gotta say that's irredeemable. Like, there's no explanation for that. Like, so I'm like, I'm anti-Liz now, and I don't understand. And then you told me some shit about Matt Brunig that made me cry. Can you read this out?
I thought there was some exchange where he admitted he didn't see The Matrix. He didn't really know about it. And look, I can't find it. And if I'm remembering this right, beautiful mind. Okay, the reason I like the joke, like, oh, he doesn't know about the virus so much, is because I love the idea of people having these perfect like brains that somehow avoided very, I don't know, very obvious and seemingly unavoidable things, which is why like they're in the UK. There was some kid who was in a coma who got COVID twice, and then he like woke up and was like, "What's COVID?" Like that to me is the most perfect being that's ever lived. That is a being of pure light. And in that same way, if that little Matrix anecdote is right, hell yeah.
That's fun. Like, when you wrote that, I really hope that's true. Because, like, oh, man, I was 9 when The Matrix came out. I think it's a 1999 movie, I believe. So I was 9, and I wasn't allowed to see PG-13 movies until I was 13. So I couldn't see it. So I didn't know about The Matrix in the sense that, like, I had seen it and knew all the plot points and what have you. And I also, like, the trailers were always really vague about what the Matrix referred to. And when I would ask people who had seen it, they'd be like, "It's so hard to explain, man. It's actually really easy to explain."
Yeah. So the Matrix is a type of long coat.
Yeah, it's a leather coat, and it looks badass. Anyway, all that to say, the concept of me, even though I hadn't seen The Matrix, the concept of me not being aware of The Matrix, being made aware in some way, is like fundamentally unthinkable. Because I would have had to have never turned on a TV and also never have spoken to anyone at school. Which I guess if you are a spreadsheet man and you decide that early enough on in your life, that could be a reasonable expectation.
This makes me think about like how I basically absorbed everything there was to absorb about Goodfellas through the stupid pigeon sketches in Animaniacs and like some other fucking things. The Critic had a lot of Goodfellas jokes. It's just like one of those things. The idea that you wouldn't know it is crazy because you're not even consuming it directly. It's like, here's the parody of the derivative runoff.
So another quick hit of a waste person, a sand walker of the wastes. There was a woman who recently went across the country on a big road trip that she like live blogged in order to propose to, well, you would think her boyfriend, but no, they had recently broken up because he's like, it's not working. She went over to propose to this man. He said fucking no. And then she did a selfie where she's like, "I'm bowed but unbroken, stronger than ever. The rights, the movie rights to my story are for sale."
Do you think there was a moment where this person saw she had posted this, like, "I'm leaving to tell someone how I love," and he's like, "Oh, hope that's not me."
It would be wild if it was me. I just told her we were broken up. I mean, it's definitely someone else. Yeah, I was right to end this relationship. It wouldn't work.
The thing that's, I guess, missing the point about a lot of this discourse around this, it's like, it's wrong to drop and impose on someone like that extremely, and then the counterpoint is like, yes, follow your heart. This is all incorrect because what people fail to see what is happening is like someone like cutting out their own heart and like offering it to the god of content.
Yeah. They are looking upon the wastes, and they are, I gotta say, correctly identifying that like the wastes offer nothing for me. There is nothing to be found here, and my life in the wastes is inherently worthless. There's no promise in store of something good other than what I make. So I will cut out my heart and caper about with it so that it will at least have a flash of purpose before it beats its last.
Yeah, and let's not forget that blood in sand looks cool.
Yeah, the sand is the machine. The sand became the machine. The machine, you know, part of the sand is like iron filings. And you know what they were filed off of? The machine. Okay, I gotta talk about these motherfuckers. Joe, you don't know much about these people. You only use YouTube to watch like white noise compilations and like how to sharpen a sword.
Okay, I'm really into this. There's this guy in Texas who just posts long videos of rain on his tin roof. Big fan of that guy.
There's a dude, I don't know if you've seen this. This is just dude, Demoon Rules put me onto him, whose whole deal is he goes to the side of the road after rainstorms where there's clogged gutters and huge standing water, and he'll unclog the gutter and film the whirlpool. That shit whips. But that's not what we're talking about. So there's this group of people that are called bread tubers. Now, these are nominally left-leaning YouTubers who, on paper, make funny videos about movies and games. What they actually do now is they exclusively make extremely dark grievance-based lectures where they browbeat their viewers for failing them. And the viewers, in turn, spend hours trying to destroy the video person. It is a true ghoulish nightmare. These people have OD'd hard on posting. They have overdosed on the posting pillar. They have gotten their humors out of balance, and it has changed them.
So, look, I'm not a YouTube person, obviously. It seems like the trajectory for any YouTube person is you eventually amass a following.
That was your first mistake.
Then that following says, we should hold up your severed head and hoot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
And like, I'll give you some specific examples. I've sort of summarized very, very broadly, but like, here's some examples. Lindsay Ellis, she's a person who makes fun videos about movies and games. Her last video was an 80-minute lecture where she told her viewers, and this is an exact quote, "Fuck all of you, none of you deserved grace," with a fury in her voice that was legitimately scary to me when I saw the clip. Similarly, ContraPoints is someone who is constantly being canceled. She got told by a viewer that the only way to atone for her many sins was to abdicate all of her income and wealth, such that she would have $0 of assets. And
then like start as a new YouTuber,
I guess. It's just like all of these people are caught in endless grievance-based feedback loops where the only thing they do is they create some new piece of content where they air their vicious grievances. In doing so, they will inevitably anger the people they're yelling at, who will be like, I hate them. Also, a lot of times they have legitimate concerns about, like, they said shit that's, like, problematic in whatever way. And they're like, well, now we hate you. And then they're like, how dare you hate me? I will make a video about how it's wrong for you to hate me. And also, like, it's part of it is, like, you eventually, here's the facts, folks. If you are a fucking YouTube person, eventually you're going to run out of fucking ideas. And you know what's an endless well of shit you can talk about? How people are yelling at me. And that's all Substack is.
Yeah, I mean, this is also why cancel culture as a concept is never going away, because it's like very rich, fertile stuff that doesn't actually mean anything, but it does provide a forever thing to rally against, even though that thing is not well defined, and it sort of generally just means when I don't get to do the thing I want. Like, it is a forever culture war waging thing. It's a thing to yell about forever. I guess what really sucks about all this is, like, it's boring, and we're going to be hearing it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and it's unavoidable. It's not like someone can become, like, a full-time YouTube person and not eventually degrade into this. Because, like, when you are in it, like, when it's your job, your content is your life. Like, there's never a time when that gets turned off. You don't separate that. So if you get yelled at, which is going to happen to every human being who's ever fucking lived,
Yeah, that's an attack on your HP directly. It's not your creative stuff. It's you. That's your blood.
Yeah, and you're gonna react to stimulus because you're a living being, and the only form of reaction you're capable of is I will make a video where I complain about it. And this sucks to me as someone who watched some of these people but didn't like watch them religiously, and then a couple months goes by, I'm like, oh, a new video from them. I thought they were pretty funny, and I click on it and I'm like, oh no. Oh, this isn't a joke at all. Whoa.
The dynamic you're describing, the sort of negative feedback loop that is not emotionally healthy, but still nonetheless produces content forever. The thing that sucks is 2 years from now, the current moment will seem healthy.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's a fucking dire thing to say. I hate that it's true because I'm looking at this other example. There was another YouTube person who's sort of adjacent to this cohort, Jenny Nicholson, who had a campaign to destroy her in the same way that there were campaigns to destroy these other YouTube people. And that was an incredible one to see because it was literally the entire campaign was based on someone took one of her tweets and they did that thing that you love doing where you go like inspect element.
Yeah, and you replace a word with ass.
Yeah, and they changed the text, and like that was like the proof that like she needs to go down. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, okay, that's cool. Fuck, yeah. Posting sucks, dude. I hate it so much.
All content we consume just seems like the production of it radiates misery into the world. And there's just more and more misery. There's just more. This is also happening as I feel like we use the anti-spiral as an effective sort of visual metaphor, but that's like what it is. It just feels like every single aspect of everything is now monetized and commodified, and so much work is being spent into finding new ways to turn new things into commodities that we didn't consider before. And the thing that sucks about it is it makes everything worse forever. Like that's like the thing. It's just like decline. It's not like, oh, yeah, things are getting really out of hand, how everything's being monetized, but it'll turn around. Like, it'll get good again. No.
Like, we gotta talk about this. This is the example that's happening now, and people are sort of goofing on this person, but like, and rightly so, I guess. But like, you can sort of see down the path, and it's like not goofy. It's like, oh, this is the new way. We gotta talk about Eve Barlow, the mask off poster. This is a person who exclusively posts about how if you do not support Israel, you're doing a digital pogrom. The classic post is my Jewish friend saw a sign that said free parking and panicked that it said free Palestine.
The subtext there that like the notion of a free Palestine was a physical threat on her life, which is wild. So my understanding with this person is her name is actually Eve Fartlow. Is this true?
Yeah, that's what's true now. We every time she posts something, you have to reply Eve Fartlow, and she pulled the dumbest tactical error of all time, which is to write an entire op-ed about how fucking pissed off she gets when people call her Eve Fartlow. It's basically just she wrote a big op-ed that's like, it's working, boys, keep it up.
Yeah, to me the op-ed is like, we are so close to this perpetual motion machine. We almost got it, fellas. We have editorial like churn forever. We've almost made it completely self-sufficient.
God, I mean, it's funny, but also just
like, it's boring. That's what sucks about this. It's literally not. You should be upset because, like, how you see these things we're talking about that suck? Something in its place that doesn't suck could be there. That should piss you off.
And like it's fun to dunk on her, even if the dunking is sort of one note, and literally you just say E for. But like I'm seeing the game plan here, and like Eve Barlow is the model for the future of posting, because well, what happened? Israel did genocide. They did a lot of murder to Palestinians because of ethno-fascism.
And then the official Twitter account of Israel said, like, we're going through a lot of stuff right now. We're going to log off to do some self-care.
Yeah, and it's like, that's silly, that's stupid. And then Eve Barlow is like, anyone who says free Palestine is killing the beautiful country that I love. I'm going to read this fucking tweet blew my mind from her. I'm not going to use anti-Zionist Jews anymore, just Jewish conspiracy theorists. Why would you be against a country? Be for a country. I'm not going to read the rest because it's just the same shit again. Be for a country is such bird-brained shit. Just it reminds me of nothing so much as that fucking gif of Ryan from The Office doing a toast to the troops, both sides. Just the idea that like any country is worth your support. Like, countries kick ass. You should like them. Countries are great.
And it's this is also like, it's stupid, but it's also like effective rhetorically, because the argument actually being said here is you're not a hater, are you? And like that works on most people.
Exactly. Yeah, like this shit is annoying and clearly stupid, and you say Eve Barlow to it, but it's fucking working. People aren't talking about Palestine anymore. They're not talking about like, this is obviously unjust. There was the whole big thing, like people were starting to speak up and like, wow, this is a sea change. We've never seen this before. And now the only thing that's getting spoken of is like, anti-Semitism on the rise. And like, anti-Semitism bad. I hate when it's on the rise. But like,
of all the directions it can go, that's my least favorite.
But like, I'm going to go ahead and guess one of the main reasons it's on the rise is because of the Nazis that have been long on the rise and never slowed down. And also, like, be that as it may, a bad thing occurs. That's not canceling out the genocide. It's still there, but it works. Fucking Eve Barlow is moving the needle. And that's going to keep happening. If something works, it's going to get rolled into the strategy. And there's going to be Eve Barlows forever.
I mean, I would love to know how that article, that 2,500 word article, performed relative to the other, pieces that week. And I'm going to go on a limb and say probably crushed it.
Yeah, definitely the number one page view getter. And it did its job in that all of the sort of blue checks who possibly might have stayed silent on this are now doing a Gian Tolentino where they have to come to the defense of this person. And everyone is like, Eve, I can't believe what they've done. This really has radicalized me against those anti-Zionists because they're rude and nasty. The worst thing you can be. The fucking Israeli army murking entire families in their homes. Oh, that's nothing compared to being rude. I can't believe they were rude to you, Eve. I'm on your side forever now. And it's just like, man, the wastes are dry and dusty, aren't they?
They are dry and dusty. And the thing that really sucks is you see a lot of procedural arguments about like why this is fine. It's like, there's an eviction process for these homes in Palestine and all this stuff. And it's like, rules are fake, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the part that frustrates me the most, is just like the entire process is fake. So like being assuaged or telling people that they should do the rules rightfully makes people upset.
Yeah. And like for a fucking case study of it, the fucking Associated Press office that got destroyed, where it's like, well, that's against the rules. And they're like, oh, actually, Hamas had an office there. Hamas was doing spreadsheets in the same building. And everyone's like, well, that's clearly a lie. This isn't true. And then all they have to do is wait like a couple of days. And then the Associated Press is like, we have just fired a new reporter because she was not angry enough about the Hamas office that we had. We are so sorry that we had that Hamas office. We believe it now. We will fire everyone who does not support Israel. Thank you for destroying the evil Hamas scourge that was stealing all of our Post-its.
Yeah, they were like, as you know, we have a 23-year-old running our Hamas office. We just found out about this. She has been let go.
Fuck. Joe, the wastes are quite bad. They're dire and drier. They're drier and dire. But I'm looking at the document, at our outline right here, and I'm seeing that there was once a time when you got joy out of posting. Can you tell me about the last time you got joy from posting?
Yeah, honestly, I think the last time I had fun online was, this is a tweet by Chelsea. The tweet as follows: sucking dick while my man plays 2K, and then like 6 greater than signs. And then the immediate follow-up, her own reply to her tweet is, LMAO, y'all thought I was talking about my man's dick? Fuck out of here. Which, that's a brain breaker. I can't, like, do you remember how much we talked about this the day it happened?
We did.
We were like, why am I the idiot?
Yeah,
like, you were so upset.
Yeah.
You were so upset that, like, this yeah.
Like, it's not... Like, I'm not the fool for thinking that it was your man's dick. And it's not even that, like, damn, I thought you were monogamous and you're actually poly. That's my close-mindedness. Even if she was like, hello, I'm poly. Anyway, sucking dick while my man plays 2K, I'd be like, that's her man's dick? That's definitely a man's dick. That's definitely whose dick she's sucking.
It has a little bit of that, like, am I part of your kink? What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I bet you can't believe I'm sucking this dick. It's not my boyfriend's like, you invited me. Like, what? You said come over.
It's like, you called me. Like, I answered the phone. You, like, what? I didn't ask you about the dick. You posted it. Also, you said fuck out of here, which is...
It's full. Yeah,
you're reading it out longhand. What she actually typed was full.
Yeah, and also the issue is that, like, for a solid week, like, that's how you responded to all stimuli. It was just full.
There were so many Simpsons diptychs where it would be like Rod Flanders saying, I don't want to eat my damn no, here it is. I don't want any damn dick vegetables while my man plays 2K. And then the rest of the Flanders go, full.
An absolute brain-breaking day. Yeah. I think that was the highest enjoyment I ever got out of this stupid site.
Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode. Sicko mode, sicko mode, sicko mode.
Oh, folks, we've talked a lot about the posting wastes. They're bad, but before we wrap up, we want to end on a little fun, lighter segment. Still a posting waste segment, but this is like, we're going to talk to you about like a specific battle that occurred between like Mad Max gangs in the wastes and sort of gawk at the bloody aftermath. There's definitely like people impaled on like spiky cars that we're going to show you.
In the horizon, there's a bunch of burnt fenders smoldering. Let's tell you how they got there.
Yeah. So we received a email from a listener, name withheld, that informed us of some incredible shit. And I'm just going to read it to you, and then we're going to read the related primary source that the listener has described here. Here they go. I was listening to the latest episode where there's a Fate wiki, and it reminded me of another deranged wiki, the Doctor Who wiki. There's pages for basically every noun anyone has ever mentioned on the show, including things like idea, notice, and sitting. However, there was a ban for years on creating a category for canonically LGBTQ characters because, quote, in the future, people don't care about that anymore. Regrettably, I used to be a very active editor there, and to this day, that experience has left me with a sick fascination with the site. However, without a doubt, the page I will have the most attachment to is the page for penis. Not because the page is terrible, but because I created it. Here's how it all went down. In 2017, I was griping with some friends about how much the wiki sucked. We got a bright idea to take the wiki's rules and do a little malicious compliance, so I created the page for penis, filled it out with a single sentence citing a very bad and completely canon Doctor Who novel that was written by a guy who dedicated the book to all the hordes, with a Z, that he had met in Indonesia. And then we waited, and the page stayed up. No one in power at the wiki was protesting. Other people started adding their own instances of dicks in Doctor Who. Then we took it up another level. You see, in 2008, a softcore porn flick was released that somehow got the right to use the Zygons, a race of shape-shifting monsters who'd appeared in 4 episodes of Doctor Who in 1975. The Doctor Who wiki considers this movie to be canonical. And yes, this movie contains full frontal male nudity, so we added a screenshot to the page, and that was when shit started to go down. Within minutes, someone had removed the dick with an edit summary that simply read, "Ah, Jesus!" We put it back, citing an official policy that anything in the Doctor Who universe was fair game to include on the wiki, no matter how not safe for work. An edit war soon began, and despite the fact that we had set out to troll him in particular, the head admin of the wiki took our side, staunchly defending the dick pic.
There's no greater honor than starting some online bullshit and turning someone to your side. Oh my God.
This is libertarianism, like, in action. This is like a good faith libertarian who's not just in it for the pedophilia. Shit. Okay. However, all good things must come to an end, and eventually the dick was removed for good on the ruling of people in charge of the wiki hosting service as a whole. Their not safe for work policy overruled those of the individual wikis they hosted. However, the image will always live on in our hearts. Holy moly.
That rules.
It really does.
I don't like when people start talking about what is canon and not canon. I get tired. I immediately start getting sleepy. The exception now is when you can use those words, I guess, against the nerds and be like, well, according to the rules, which we hate but you love, this dick is important. And
you're required to look at it. You have to think it's hot. You have to tell me you love the dick.
Not only that, but I think it should be page of the day.
Joe, so I have open on the fucking TARDIS Data Core website the page for penis. Now, it's not quite as glorious as it once was, as the listener said. All good things must come to an end, but I want to read a bit of it. It is in the following categories: sexuality, sexual reproduction, and organs from the real world.
You guys got those dicks from the real world?
Yes, it is a incredible real category on the wiki with 19 pages. Such great pages as nose and eye and ear. The accompanying image for the ear article is Doctor Who pointing at his ear because he can't hear what you're saying.
That's great. That helps with my immersion. That's cool.
All right, so the penis article starts with a frankly chilling use of the past tense with the sentence, "A penis, also known as a cock, was a reproductive organ."
Whoa! Someone got the Dragon Balls and made the wish. They cured it all. No more dicks. It's all gone.
Continuing on, we learn that Papul villagers on Jengel wore leaves and vegetable gourds over their penises to show power in bed. In bed is a hyperlink that links to the sex page of the Doctor Who wiki.
Were they wearing the gourds when they fuck?
I think the gourds is like a preview of what you're gonna get if
Power
you choose to fuck.
In bed. I hate this.
It was from Combat Rock, the 55th novel of the BBC Doctor Adventures, written by Mick Lewis in 2002. Is this the one that was dedicated to the Indonesian sex workers that he referred to with a cruel word?
With a Z.
With a Z? I can't tell. Anyway, back to the penis article. The next paragraph is, one of the guests to Scarlet and the Eighth Doctor's wedding in 1782 wore a mask with a nose that was suggestively long and erect. I would say that belongs in the nose article.
Yeah, I got a big nose, and no one's writing articles about me. I don't know. How big is this nose? Sometimes the nose is just a nose.
Next paragraph. Sarah Jane once kicked Jack Cooper in the groin after he threatened to kill her. Yeah,
That's a good response.
Yeah, I think that's in proportion. Next, we see that Gwen Cooper once threatened to knee Jack Harkness in the groin if he was joking about the current situation. Jack himself would later taunt Owen Harper about his penis size, claiming that, quote, "You're in charge, Owen. You gotta have significantly bigger balls." That's talking about his balls.
That's incorrect.
Different.
Like that. I actually really like this idea that it's all one thing.
I was gonna say this was written by someone who hasn't seen the whole scenario in real life and sort of just conflates it all into one thing. But actually, I'm with you now. This is how it should be.
We're actually saving doctors time. There used to be 3 objects they had to learn about. Now there's just a one thing.
Holy shit! This last paragraph is very fucked. Holy moly! Trigger warning on this shit. After Rachel, and to be clear, trigger warning on fucking a Doctor Who novel. After Rachel Edwards started writing for the New Progressive, quote, creepy blokes started following her and sending her pictures of their genitalia. One sent her Photoshop pictures of her decapitated head with his, quote, cock in her mouth. Mouth is a hyperlink to the mouth page on the Doctor Who wiki.
Jesus.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Don't you love how, these stupid artifacts we come across, can't... It really feels like we set off every day when we do these little goofers like this. We're going to go play in the woods, and the first thing we do is find a body.
Fuck. It really does. God. This is what passes for entertainment in the wastes. A body posed in a fun way that suggests what it was doing before it died, like in Fallout. This is the best we fucking get. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's pretty much all we got. We're not going to read any more of this penis page. We're at the end. There's some fucking paragraphs I skipped, but they're boring.
Yeah, also the vibe got bad, so there's not much you can do to sort of turn that trajectory around.
Yeah. If you want your vibe to improve, though, you can always purchase a pack of fun stickers that'll make you the coolest kid on your block if you just go to animesickos.com/store. It'll be so much fun to get those stickers. I gotta tell you that when I look at the stickers, I do a big smile. I love to see them.
Imagine your popularity increasing as the coolest kid on your block, as Tom said, comes up to you and says, "Hey, I think this sticker spells sucked wrong." And you're like, "Actually, it's snucked."
That kid's gonna look like a fucking idiot. He didn't know about snucked. You had to tell him. He will always know now that he had to learn it from you. Yeah. Yuck.
Also, it's in the Dark Souls font, so then you could be like, do you even know games?
Oh, shit. Thank you all for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.